Hello, hello.
Hello.
I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And this is Wednesday. And you're
watching
watching The Night Owl. So, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you got your drinks. I hope you got your snacks.
It's Friday.
Let's do this. So, yeah, it's Friday. Little Bean is excited for the weekend. She's just been a little lethargic lately. I think I looked it up and I was just a little worried because she wasn't eating a lot this week. And I looked it up and, it's because of older cats tend to not eat as much. But she also has been sleeping a bunch. And I don't know if you guys have pets where they've been sleeping more often than they do in the warmer months. It's normal. I mean, I feel like for me, like an example, last night I went out and I got home at like 2:30, but I stayed up until 5 because whenever I go out, I still have a lot of energy. So I just waited out until I go to bed. And I didn't have an alarm this time, but I still ended up waking up at 2 p.m.? So there have been many times, more than I can count, where even if I go to bed late, I still wake up relatively early. But today was a half day for me, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Matthew had the day. He didn't go out, so he had the whole day to do his thing. But I did get some stuff done. I did do some adulting. And yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know we're excited to see you. We're excited to be here. And we are excited that we're on time. It's 8:48 in Chicago. And if you guys are not from Chicago, then it's probably another time entirely. So if you guys are new, I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And this is the Night Owl Chicago, an all-inclusive podcast that talks about music, art, and life, and everything in between. So today I have just a few things from our listeners. Like I said, we're on Facebook, which I actually put Matthew as the admin for our Facebook page and my pages. But I'll probably be getting rid of my personal account, so do not fret. I know that I said last time we were going to, get rid of we're going to do some liquidizing and get rid of the Facebook, but people are still commenting on content that I put up there. So I'm going to keep it. And like I said, I think I'm going to figure out the Twitch thing this week because for some reason, I don't know if you guys know, but let me check audio to make sure. Let me just check the audio to make sure. I don't even care if I look dumb. We're just going to make sure you guys can hear us.
You can hear us.
One mistake, and that's all it takes sometimes. Click on it. Okay. All right. So, so for some reason, when I tried to make a new Twitch, if you forget your password, then you have to get a new stream key. So then your content that you had was it's gone because it's a totally different stream key. And the stream key is what you have, what you're given either from Facebook or another platform. And which part I'm using StreamYard. So we have our own stream key and you can add it to whatever platform you want. But also the phone number can't be the same. So you can't have multiple Twitch accounts with the same number, which is really dumb.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess it's a privacy thing or I don't know, but I'm going to have to either get a WhatsApp number or a new number and maybe just have it also be interactive so you guys can text us if you want. I probably won't take any phone calls, but you're more than welcome. I'll probably make a new WhatsApp number or a new Google phone number so you guys can text us if you want. But I'll probably use that for the Twitch account because it's so finicky. Matthew and I have only used Twitch one time during the quarantine when we were playing video games. Something we were in our Assassin's game and stuff. So I had to make a new one under our podcast, and then I have another one under my music. So the podcast one is getting weird. It's being weird. So I either have to use Matthew's number or I'm going to use a whole new number. But that's what I have today. Did you have a story you wanted to talk about?
Only because it happened today. Well, I guess you were asleep when I woke up. I turned on the local news and was surprised to see something that perhaps maybe that I don't know what's the right word, maybe manifested a little bit.
Isn't that nice when you manifest? You and I do that all the time, though. Don't we see stuff in the media?
Yesterday,
all the time.
I'm taking the taxi back from the airport. Midway, we're going up Lakeshore Drive, northbound, and I'm looking out, over Lake Michigan there, and you can see kind of the remnants from the phenomenon, the little ice balls that formed. the lake is pretty frozen. And I was just kind of thought to myself, I wonder if somebody would just think, wonder if I could walk out on it, because it really doesn't look, it looks frozen, but it didn't look that solid. You could still see pockets of where there was still water coming up. You could still see where there was maybe like fissures of ice that had just kind of come together subtly, and you really weren't sure if maybe how solid they were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, this morning.
I'm going to find a photo so you guys to back him
up. It was pretty much on all the local newscasts around here this morning. A young man at about 55th Street walked out on the Lake Michigan.
Was it this morning?
This morning.
And it was like 20 degrees out. It was not that warm.
Cold,
it was pretty cold, yeah.
The newscasters, I think, maybe were exaggerating a little bit. Or
you should have seen the picture of like with the helicopter. I mean, it wasn't that far from shore.
They thought that he was miles out on the Lake Michigan, and it turned out he wasn't.
But they don't let you swim that far either because of the undertow.
They don't let you swim that far. Plus, with just like what you mentioned with the undertow, I mean, he could have walked out 6 inches, fallen in, and been done. I mean, let alone the.
And he's not even from here. He's from California, so I don't think he's even used to being around ice.
Going to Chicago, from California. He's 25 years old, and he was just out for a walk. Well, lo and behold, a lady this morning called 911, and all this emergency crews show up. I mean, and just as theatric and traumatic as it was, it just really ended quite the opposite way. I mean, he walked off the ice, or I should say they pulled him off the ice. They eventually got him onto like this rubber raft. So they wouldn't let him completely walk off the ice on his own.
Why didn't they just have the helicopter like carry him up? That would have been so cool.
I don't know. I think they were afraid he was going to fall through. At the end of the day, he pretty much walked off on his own accord. He was fine. He was not hurt. He was not injured. He was not wet. He had not fallen through.
Well, I'll put the ticket. I can't share under this account on Google, so I'm just going to give you guys a link. So I'll put the link in the comments so you guys can watch on your own time. But it's really quite interesting. Like, I think that he's lucky he didn't die, number one. And then he's also lucky that he didn't get arrested. Because did they kind of say like why he did it? Like, was he on drugs? Was he just curious? Did he see if he could do it?
For a walk.
Okay.
Just out for a stroll.
He was out for a walk.
California, and I think he wanted to see what it was like to walk out onto a frozen lake and not really understanding or knowing potentially that lake was not as frozen as it looked. So no, he was cited with disorderly conduct by the police and went on his merry way. Like I said, just as traumatic as that event was, I mean, it ended with pretty much a whisper. I mean, he pretty much walked off and that was it.
Well, did he have to pay a fine? So what kind of fine did he pay?
Like I said, he was given a ticket for disorderly conduct. So whatever that is, I'm guessing anywhere from $50 to maybe a couple $100. Plus, he may be also charged because, like I said, there was a number of emergency vehicles out there. They did have personnel out there. They did go out onto the lake to go ahead and retrieve them. So I'm sure all of that is part of the ticket and the cost. And they exactly an action-packed morning here. You don't expect somebody to kind of just walk.
I think it's great. I think it's the only thing good that's happening in 2022 so far, because everything else sucks. Like, politics still suck. People are still racist and pieces of shit. I think it's nice to hear just some random dude. And he wasn't on drugs. Like, he was just go for a walk, like you said. And if he's never been here before, or maybe that was just something that he wanted to do, like, I think that's really hilarious. Like, I mean, kudos to you that you didn't get killed.
I'm honestly surprised he's been the only one. It would be very tempting to walk out onto the lake. But again, if you are from here, I think most of us understand that that is an illusion because of those undertows and undercurrents with Lake Michigan. It never freezes to a point, especially where he was. It never really freezes to a point where you can safely walk out onto it. It's one thing in kind of the harbor areas where some of the boats dock, at times that part of the lake does freeze up to a point where you can go out onto it pretty safely. I've seen people ice fish in those areas, but not where this dude was. Hell no.
Okay, so this is what I have. It's about Joe Rogan. as you guys all know, so this is not from our Facebook. This was a screen caption that I found on Facebook that I thought was freaking hilarious. It says, it's by Edward Snowden. I know you know who Edward Snowden is. Why don't you tell the listeners or the viewers who Edward Snowden is,
Wasn't
if they
he
don't know?
the young man that kind of brought to light the fact that the NSA was basically spying on the citizens of America?
Was it WikiLeaks? Was that what it was?
He helped with WikiLeaks.
He helped with it, but there was another guy.
I mean, he basically ran because he was going to be charged with treason. I mean, he's kind of looked on as both negatively and positively here, and so what does he have to say?
So this says, I mean, just look at the logo. Which part of this primes you in an expectation of reliable medical advice? Just a picture of it. Now, in the beginning, when he had this logo, I thought it looked a little insane, but he was still doing very well with his podcasting. He was still had really great guests on his podcast, because he was doing his podcast just over the radio. You know, you didn't see him, and then he went on YouTube, and then Spotify bought him. And obviously there's some backlash now with what we talked about last week. But I mean, it's funny. Like it says, and he says, but sure, blame the magic, the Third Eye Radio for the decline of the basic trust of institutions. I can't see the rest of it.
Well, I think it's interesting, though, that you bring him up, right? Didn't it last time we brought him up in the fact that there were artists leaving Spotify because of his kind of controversial viewpoints, especially on COVID and vaccinations. And he recently came out.
Oh, wait, here. I'm going to finish. Wait. It says, but sure, blame the magic, Third Eye Radio man for the decline of the basic trust in institutions. Throw him in the volcano and we'll have world peace by Monday.
Well, I mean, and that's just, and pretty much kind of, I don't want to say walk back, but basically said that he is all about having a conversation and seeing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Though
Joe Rogan is?
Yeah. So, but I would argue, and this is what some of the critics and some of the experts say, when it does come to looking at different viewpoints, please go for it. You need to have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with questioning, especially what is the standard. Nothing wrong with questioning science, but when it's proven, when
then
it's
you can't
fact,
really deny it. You don't have to accept it. But
there is something wrong with questioning that when it's been proven, and that then that is something.
And also, like,
wrong.
why would you? Well, yeah, it's like you're questioning the wrong thing, and then. People like that do exist. People that know more than us do exist. People that are out there. Most of humanity exists because of people like them, like scientists and meteorologists and doctors, and we don't always need lawyers, but we do need the law, obviously. But those professions are taken seriously. We need people like neurologists. We need lawyers. We need doctors. We need teachers. I mean. They exist. They're not. It's not a joke. Like
we know, it's how we advance once we
engineers. We need them too. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, exactly.
Law has been.
I feel better knowing something's proven. I feel safer. I'm not going to question it. Now, when it comes to advertising, marketing, promotions, stuff you see on TV, sometimes you see on the internet, you can question that stuff. Politics, definitely question it.
I'd say question everything.
Yes.
But when there is an
there's actual facts,
there is truth, when there is facts, then that's an assault
then you could
on truth.
Yes, exactly. And then it's misinformation.
That's what this country is experiencing right now, is an extreme assault.
And I'm not blaming Trump, because we've been doing it since the 60s. I mean, it's been happening since Vietnam, with the misinformation and the brainwashing and the distractions.
You could go back even farther than that, and probably honestly
ever since there was media,
all through the annals of time, you can see where deception has been used to cover up and kind of keep people in line.
Look at any pharaoh, look at all of Egypt, like all the history of Egypt, all the Romans, all the Greek, anything. When there's someone in power.
Anybody who watches TV, you see all the class action lawsuits. I mean, pretty much all of those are because there was some kind of deception out there. When you see the mesothelioma, because of asbestos,
22.
that's because there was mass deception.
With
that.
And misinformation, no information, no education. Nothing.
No, there really was with
because they
asbestos,
kept it away. Because how do you not know that those workers are going to get sick?
There really was.
They knew that. They didn't care. They just wanted money. They wanted to get the job done.
They knew that, especially the gentleman at the time that was responsible for it, knew after the studies came out that it was cancer causing. He buried
and they didn't
those
give a
studies.
Shit.
He made sure they did not come out. This is why there's now billions of dollars set aside for a class action lawsuit against it. Because he hid all that information. Basically, the guy responsible for mining asbestos.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember actually all those billboards too.
Yeah.
Did you have one more thing you want to talk about?
No, I just saw that recently. I was kind of blown away. I didn't see here for this year. So
you said something today. You told me something today.
Netflix has 85 original movies that will come out this year.
85?
85.
Is The Last Kingdom coming back? What's going on with that,
TV
Matthew?
Series. I didn't get into
We talked
TV
about it
series.
like a year ago.
About it. Maybe we'll get into it more, but these are movies.
Okay, so what you're watching, this is our what you're watching segment. So Matthew's going to talk about that.
I have nothing specific about it. Matter of fact, I don't even have a list of what some of the movies are. I do know that some of them are sequels from other previous movies, and some of them are all completely new, but 85.
That's movies. A lot. And remember, we keep repeating it. I know I'm a broken record, but Netflix has a ginormous budget, so they're pretty much taking over in Hollywood. You know,
they are a very
they're the top streaming
model, right?
They're the first streaming company. Everything else now, literally ABC News has streaming now. Like everything is streaming.
Does,
yeah,
right? But they're interesting, right? They throw all this money at these movies. At times, they are in the red, so they're losing money. Some of these years, but we. As fans of some of these movies, I mean, I'm not going to say don't do it. I mean, keep making movies.
Yeah, keep making movies, keep doing it. I mean, Netflix has really gotten. I mean, I just think that they need to hold on to certain shows because sometimes they don't, and it's like upsetting because, Matthew and I, for the most part, we've been pretty happy. We still have to finish The Get Down, by the way, but we've been very happy with what Netflix has been putting out, and their production is great. The actors, they hired the best actors. They hire TV and movie. And I know that they're not the only company that has done that. There have been plenty of TV shows before streaming was a thing where that we saw movie actors in TV. And in my opinion, being on a TV show gets you more clout. It gets you more money. You have a little bit more freedom because you film, certain times of the day. You don't have to just meet up on one day or have a long stretch and then nothing. Like it's a steady income. It's a steady schedule for actors, for the crew. So I think being on a TV show is a little bit more healthier as an actor, and it's lucrative. I mean, and like I said, Netflix has the most money, the most budget. I just wish that they had Jupiter's Landing again. Like I wish that they brought that back, but that's okay. I digress.
Other things I'm curious to see. So yeah.
So let's see. I had another one. So under my questions and comments. Okay, so this was something I put. It was a meme. It says this is what I put on our Facebook page. So I said if everyone drops one thing that they learned in therapy, we can all gain insight from this thread. Oh, not that one. I'm sorry. That's a different one. Okay, I'll do that one next week. So it says what's something that you technically understand but still seems a bit like magic. So think about this. What's something that you technically understand but still seems a bit like magic? So I'm going to read the top comments here. What do you think? What is something that you technically understand, but you still think it's like magical?
Water.
Okay. I don't know if there's technicality to water, but.
Well, I mean, you think about it, right? It could be a gas, a solid.
Yeah, it could be everything.
It's pretty interesting.
Someone said pregnancy. That's a good one. Someone said communication with animals. It still sometimes amazes me that dogs and cats can understand us, which I think is interesting because me and Matthew, we just assume that Wednesday understands us, which I'm sure she does, but I think that's still kind of magical. And I think that people that don't have pets don't really understand that, but I love that most of our friends have animals. So like when I talk to them about my cat, they totally get it. There's no like laughing or judgment. They're just like, oh yeah, like I totally get it, or you see them talking to their pets and they're like, oh god.
Species get together.
And most animals have used body language instead of their vocals. So, it's sometimes it's like Wednesday acts a certain way to Matthew that she does with me. And then sometimes she acts the same with both of us. Someone says, oh my gosh. Okay. So someone says, my ability to forget my tea until it goes cold. Is it my ADHD or is it an ancient curse laid upon me by a vengeful spirit? Who's to say?
Every time.
Words are magical to me. You can break someone's heart with words or you can repair it with words. Oh, that's really deep. I like that. Let's see.
Yeah,
Someone said pretty much all bodily functions: breathing, heart beating, muscles contracting, vision, hearing, digestion, everything.
As they say, right? The pen is mightier than the sword.
Those big Airbuses are Boeing 737, so cumbersome, but the way they lift into the air is always breathtaking. Yeah, I mean, we're not technically supposed to fly.
It is amazing.
It's something that man has basically been able to master. Although you said that Southwest has old planes now.
Well, they've
been taking back their budget.
They had the newer fleet, and now you can kind of see
they're trying to save money because they can't pay people. Yeah. Still trying to understand how hitting letters in the keyboard and they show up on the screen.
Magic.
Those shrinkies things from the 80s and 90s. I think they meant slinkies, right? No, shrinkies.
Slinkies or maybe
it says shrinkies. Things from the 80s and 90s went in the oven in one size and came out an exact miniature version of itself. Have you heard of those? Shrinkies? Have you heard of those? I never heard of
put them in the oven.
How televisions work. Like it's a bunch of wires and pieces of metal, plastic, connected to electrical outlets and gets a signal from towers.
That it picks up. Yeah, I mean, it picks up this magic.
But yet we haven't been able to get any signal from space yet. Music pressed on vinyl and then heard through our ears via a tiny needle. Analog is like, I mean, okay, I'll actually comment. I'll branch off onto that comment. What I had learned, obviously, when I started doing music, I said everything's analog, right? This is analog, but our computer is digital, right? The camera is analog and digital. So, like a DSLR is more of an analog camera. This is an analog because it's physical. I can touch it. It absorbs sound, but you can't hear anything. Like if a DJ is playing at a club, you can't hear anything unless it goes through the speakers, right? So the speakers are analog. The controller is analog, but it can also be digital. So our ears are not wired and not designed to hear digital. Because of our eardrums. Our eardrums vibrate every time there's a sound, right? Of any frequency.
That's not how our equipment works.
No, so analog is what you use
feel the beat
to be able to hook up to digital. So they have to be connected in order to create that sound. So someone's also said electricity. I mean, I'm an EE and work as such, but I think it's electrical engineer. But the fact that you can plug something into a battery, that weird chemistry inside, magic, and make it work, become alive with the movement of electrons in a wire and electrical and magnetic fields. More damn magic.
Like AC/DC.
Never ceases to amaze the fuck out of me. I love the way that this person described that. Like more damn magic. Like I love that. And they're an electrical engineer, so we're all just trying to figure it out. Even the professionals. Losing something I literally just had in my hand and finding it in a weird place or never finding it ever again in some cases. I was actually going to say that, Matthew, when I asked you about what you thought.
Versus in weird time warps.
I feel like in my weird like conspiracy brain thinks that there's like a dimension where there's just like lost socks and like lost remotes and like shit that you just never find again until you move. Until you literally have to move out of your apartment to find it. Yeah. Having kids, just yes, I understand the science, but I understand the science of it, but our bodies grow a human being from nothing. It's truly amazing. Airplanes, someone said airplanes again, DVDs, record players. So a lot of people have said a lot of the same things. Also the layers of the ocean. I like seeing the glow in the dark fishes and creatures in the midnight zone. Magic. What do you think about those little guys? What are they called? It's like a something glow. What is it called? The algae does that too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of creatures.
Do you know
out
what that's
there
called? That something
that.
glow?
I mean, there's worms, there's algae,
There's fish.
cells, there's fish.
But so they had to evolve to create that, like, bioluminescence.
Yes.
That's what kind of it is, right? Because there's no light, so they have to evolve.
Yeah, I mean, there are caves around the world that are lit up.
Could you imagine humans doing that?
Worms.
Can you imagine humans like glowing like
that?
that?
Maybe, we could glow.
Mermaids.
Glow worms.
Let's see. Growing human body. Okay. People with the ability to just order without rehearsing what they're going to say. I guess this person can't order without rehearsing it. Computers. Someone said computers. Let's see. Oh no, this one's kind of dark. The fact that I get out of bed every single morning.
It's a miracle.
How the universe was formed. Big Bang seems a little far-fetched. I mean, what I'm scared about is the big rip, because that's like when it ends. That's when everything ends, right? Let's see, the magic of 2 sticks and a string. Knitting. I actually agree with that, because when you ever watch someone knit, it really truly is magical. Or even I even think how dominoes are.
Yeah,
I know that you line them up.
Weaving, any of that. So
I know that how you line dominoes up. It's still magic when you watch them fall, especially when you watch those videos of like the really big projects. The big portraits.
Dominoes is magic. No.
Vaccines. Okay. Music in general. Literal emotional manipulation. Let's see what else. Wi-Fi and telephones. All right. Fuck myself up thinking about it. Don't get me started on the overseas postal delivery service. I get it. I've broken it down, but it's almost like when you say a word too many times, it will begin to lose its meaning and sound weird. I agree, but I get that only happens to me if I get very stoned, where I'm just like, that's a weird word, and you just keep saying it.
In your
like
mind.
It is kind of strange, right? Let's see. A lot of people saying, oh, plant growing. It starts off with a seed and then it roots and starts forming out of which it's weird because it's a seed with nothing inside of it. It forms a flower. Like what? Still blows my mind.
There's lots inside of it. There's lots inside of it.
Well, also okay, so you guys can't see because I have the curtain down, but I have some philodendrons that are clippings, and now I've gotten rid of the mother, so I have her babies now, so they're new clippings.
You could do that with humans,
and then
clip our arms off and start growing another human.
That would be great. And then I have an aloe plant, and the aloe plant. When did I get that aloe plant? This past summer. So I got the aloe plant, and every day I think I feed it. I feed the aloe plant once a month, like water, and then I feed the philodendrons every few days with water and food. And every day with the aloe plant, aloe plants split off. Yeah. And so there's a new little guy in the middle and it splits off and then a new guy. So almost every day I see it growing, or the philodendrons, you can see them peel back and little shoots. Yeah. So it is kind of like magic. You can see, and if they have moonlight, I don't know if you guys know this, but some plants are actually nocturnal. So some of them do grow during the nighttime. They don't go to sleep. Roses go to sleep. Most flowers go to sleep, but plants are constantly going.
A lot of plants will go to sleep. Weed will go to sleep.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Like the weed, like marijuana plants?
Marijuana plants go to sleep.
At night or during the day?
No, at night.
Let's see. Eyeglasses. You can put this on your face and you can see effing magic. The English language, for example, Q.
That's crazy.
For the English language, for example, Q, Q-U-E-U-E, and Q and C-U-E. Sounds the same, but are vastly different in meaning. There are words like that. Polish and polish, they're spelled the same. Whenever I try to type polish, it uppercases the Polish. It tries to make it Polish, and I'm like, Apple, what are you doing? What are you doing trying to make polish? Or if I try to put fucking, it says ducking, and I'm like, no. How we chop a tree down and cut it up. It would be such a hard language to learn and understand if it isn't your first. Let's see. A lot of people say, obviously having kids. A dog's loyalty, that is definitely magic. Planet Earth, the human race could disappear tomorrow and the planet would literally thrive.
Yeah, it would keep being here until it's spun off until the sun.
Yeah, so that's all I got for today.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you have anything else you want to talk about? You good?
What?
Okay, well, we're going to do our recording probably when Matthew comes back. So we'll do the actual audio recording when Matthew. What day do you come back, Matthew? From your work trip?
Beat around Thursday or Friday.
Okay, so Friday we will do our recording. So it'll just be our audio recording. So next weekend, expect that to be on the Anchor podcast or anywhere that you hear.
Listen to your favorite podcast.
And like I said, get the Pandora app because Pandora, we are very popular on Pandora. We're very popular on Apple.
Pandora.
Spotify, not so much, but I've been checking the analytics. Pandora and Apple is the biggest platforms that we've had so far. So it's free to get the Pandora app. You can sign up with your email. You can sign up with your Facebook. But yeah, you guys send us an email. Our email is thenightowlchicago@gmail.com. I'll put it in the comments here right now. And then let's see, nightowlchicago@gmail. You can send us stories. You'll be anonymous if you'd like it, or if you don't. If you want to be a guest, definitely, we would love to have you guys. We won't be doing a live interview, so it'll be a little bit more of a safe space. And yeah, we want you guys to be happy. Enjoy your weekend. If you live here in the city, please stay warm. Please don't try to drive if you don't need to. And always call an Uber. Do not drink and drive. And don't talk to strangers. And wear a goddamn mask.
Wear a goddamn mask.
I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And you're watching The Night Owl.